Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. Something that I've noticed with Cartoon Network throughout the years is that they're pretty bad when it comes to making merchandise for their series. Outside of Ben 10, you're really lucky to come across any sort of collectibles or figurines of any Cartoon Network series. Like I remember back in the day as a kid, I was in some store with my mom and we came across a Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends pinball machine, like a little travel pinball machine of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and I remember being so excited by this because you really couldn't find merchandise for Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends back in the day. Cartoon Network has been notoriously bad at making merchandise for their series. And you might recall a few years ago at this point, I made a video discussing how Cartoon Network had a line of Funko Pops out there that they were selling. They had Funko Pops for different series, anywhere from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory, We Bare Bears. I'll leave a card above to that video if you haven't seen it. But it turns out that as of late, Cartoon Network has actually been making some new merchandise with a few different partners. So first and foremost, when it comes to Funko, as I said before, they've had merchandise throughout the past few years here and there when it comes to Funko with Cartoon Network series. We even had that Ben 10 line of soda pop figures that came out, which interesting note with those Ben 10 ones. I made a video a year ago discussing that, and one of the ones I mentioned in that video was Alien X was going to be getting a soda pop release, and funny enough, it was supposed to come out in Q3, Q4 of 2023, and we're in Q1 of 2025, and it still has not been released, so I'm going to presume that Funko soda pop of Alien X has been canceled, which is really a shame because it did look really cool. But nevertheless, we have new Funko Pops coming for Cartoon Network. At the time at which you're watching this video, they might be out already. The three that I am referring to is we are getting a Funko Pop of Chowder, which is a Funko.com exclusive, which looks absolutely amazing. We're also getting a new Samurai Jack Funko Pop, which Samurai Jack is a series that has gotten a plethora of Funko Pops through the years, and now we're going to be getting Mad Jack from Samurai Jack, also looks amazing. And last but not least, we're getting a plus size Funko Pop of Space Ghost from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and that is also coming in the month of January along with the Mad Jack figure. And it's just really cool to be seeing more Cartoon Network merchandise being added to Funko's collection. I'm not the biggest Funko guy out there, if I'm being honest. I do have a bit of a collection going, but it's not a huge collection. A couple years ago when I first discovered that Cartoon Network actually made some Funko Pops, I got into them and started building a bit of a collection, but I haven't really been buying any as of late. But I'm not gonna lie, after seeing this Chowder figure and after seeing Mad Jack, I am 100% going to be picking both of these up, just because, as I said before, it's really hard to come by Cartoon Network merchandise nowadays. Like even back when I was a kid, outside of Ben 10, there really wasn't much out there, so I think it's great that we're getting these figures. But on top of that, I don't know if you guys have heard of the brand YouTooz, but I see advertisements for them all the time on social media. But essentially it's a similar brand akin to Funko, right? They make vinyl figures, vinyl collectibles of your favorite characters from your favorite series, and it turns out that they have a bit of a Cartoon Network collection that should be launching this summer. So pre-orders are up now for these, and I actually did manage to buy one of them. They're a little bit more pricey than Funko's. I've never bought a YouTooz before. I've heard of them, I've seen them. I wanted to get the Jupiter one from Cuphead. I never bought it though because it's $30 each, which kind of seems a little bit steep for a vinyl figure, but I ordered one and we'll see how it is because they're making a Chowder one, and this Chowder one looks absolutely phenomenal. Obviously when it comes to Funko Pops are more stylized to have that Funko Pop look, right? But this Chowder looks like it's a straight up 3D model that came out of this show. I know it was a 2D animated series, but it looks like if Chowder was a 3D animated show, this would have been the model that they used. It looks absolutely phenomenal, and this is actually the one that I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered this Chowder because, again, it looks phenomenal, and I love this series, so I can't wait to add it to my collection. On top of which, they also have a Steven Universe figure coming. It's Steven Universe and Lion, as you can see on screen. It also looks good to me, but it's not something that I'm going to go out of my way to pick up, because the thing is with these YouTooz vinyl figures is, as I said before, they're $30 each. They're a lot more pricey than the $12.99 that Funko's are, and in order for you to get the entirety of the Cartoon Network collection for these, you're looking at spending $150 because there's a total of 5. I know so far we've only gone over 2, but the last 3 all come from Adventure Time, and we have Jake crying from one of the episodes. I don't recall which episode exactly it was from, but this is one of the YouTooz Adventure Time vinyl vinyl figures that's coming. There's also one of Finn pulling out the Lich's eyes with Princess Bubblegum's sweater from that one episode. That's another figure that is coming this summer. And last but certainly not least, there is a BMO figure coming with BMO with headphones on. And this one in particular, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I had to hold back from buying it because I actually do like this BMO one. As I'm talking about it now, I might end up convincing myself to go place a pre-order on this one as well. But the BMO one in particular looks really cool to me. Honestly, I kind of wish he didn't have the headphones on because I wouldn't mind just having a cool vinyl BMO figure to put on my shelf to add to my collection. But overall, I do like the YouTooz figures designs. The only three I'm not the biggest fan of, if I'm being honest, are the Steven Universe one, the Finn one, and the Jake one. I just feel like I'd rather have just, you know, maybe action poses for those characters where you could see more of their model, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that Finn is kind of just pulling out the Lich's eyes and Jake's on the ground crying. I prefer something more so like Chowder, where it's like just kind of the regular figure you could put on a shelf. I don't know, maybe that's just a me thing. You guys let me know down below what you guys think about all these. But the last piece of Cartoon Network merchandise that has kind of gone under the radar, and I actually haven't seen this one myself in person or really anywhere, is Cartoon Network made some Ben 10 Ultimate Alien bag clips. I've seen these at Target and at Walmart for different shows. Like, they have some for My Hero Academia, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Naruto Shippuden, Ted Lasso, pretty much any show you could possibly imagine. They have these like little kind of silicone rubber bag clips that they sell, and it's a blind bag and you don't know what you're going to be getting. They have a whole Ben 10 Ultimate Alien series of these, which is just really weird to me to be seeing because we don't really get a ton of Ben 10 merchandise anymore outside of those Funko Pops that I mentioned before, the Soda Pops. And also too, we got a Swampfire Funko Pop a few years back as well. I think it was a Comic-Con exclusive last year or something like that. I managed to get one on Walmart, but I know they're kind of hard to come by nowadays. So yeah, it's kind of weird to be seeing Ben 10 bag clips. It's a very strange product that they're putting out there, and honestly, I wish we got some Ben 10 YouTooz figures or Ben 10 Funko Pops to go along with that Swampfire one. Last thing I want to say before signing off on this video is one thing I've noticed, as I said before, is Cartoon Network is not great at, you know, making merchandise for their series. And one thing that I find odd, honestly, and something that I've noticed is I have a Five Below near me, right? A Five Below opened up by me maybe about a year or plus ago. I go into there quite often to see what Funko minis they have, right? You know, I've collected some of them that they have. They have the metal figures too from a lot of different shows, and I like to collect those. They're not very expensive, right? They're $5 each. They're pretty nice figures at the end of the day, so they're kind of cool to collect. Well, I went in there this week and I saw that they had a Nickelodeon series of Funko Pops, or mini Funkos, I should say. I found a Jimmy Neutron one and a Wanda Chase variant where it's glittery, and I looked at the back of the box and it turns out they have one of Jimmy and Carl from Jimmy Neutron. They have one of Cosmo and Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents. They have one for Danny Phantom and Ember, obviously from Danny Phantom, and they also have the two Chase variants for Cosmo and Wanda where they're all glittery. And I was just like, geez, these are really cool. I want to get the Danny Phantom one, maybe the Ember one, and the Cosmo and Wanda. Unfortunately, my Five Below did not have those, so I was not able to purchase them, and it made me think Nickelodeon really does a great job, or a better job, I should say, than Cartoon Network when it comes to making merchandise for their former classic series. I feel like Nickelodeon really does treat their old library with care, and they do try to highlight it from time to time. Like, how many Avatar Funko Pops have we gotten? I can't tell you at Five Below how many SpongeBob figures I've seen. I know it's SpongeBob, it's one of the biggest franchises out there in the kids animated space, but still, when you look at that compared to what Cartoon Network does with their series, they don't do an awful lot. The only Cartoon Network stuff I've ever seen at my Five Below is bobbleheads of Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls reboot. That's all I've ever seen. So at the end of the day, while I'm happy seeing these new Funko Pops coming out, I'm happy to be seeing these YouTooz figures coming out, I'm happy that we got those Ben 10 bag clips, even though those are rather strange. I hope that Cartoon Network doesn't stop there. I hope these products do well, and it shows Cartoon Network that there actually is a market for merchandise, that people do want to own collectibles from their favorite classic Cartoon Network shows. It's the same thing with the DVD box sets, right? The same thing with releasing Cartoon Network series on DVD. Years ago, I was saying how Cartoon Network doesn't do that. They don't release home media releases for their shows. Fast forward a few years now, and while it's not as big of a collection as I'd like it to be, they have started to at least bolster their lineup, right? A few years back, we didn't have a Dexter's Laboratory box set. We didn't have a regular show box set that's coming. soon. All we really had was Courage the Cowardly Dog, Adventure Time, and that's pretty much it. There was a Steven Universe box set as well, but really that's it. And now you look at it today, there's an Ed and Eddie box set, there's a Falls Home for Imaginary Friends box set, they re-released the Powerpuff Girls box set from like 10-15 years ago, so they've begun to bolster their lineup there on the home media front, and I hope they continue to do so. I hope we continue to get more complete series box sets of our favorite series, and I hope that we start seeing more collectibles like this, because I think this is awesome. I think these YouTooz and Funko Pops are really cool. Even though I'm not going to buy all of them, I'm really happy that they exist. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. What do you guys think about these new YouTooz and Funko Pop figures coming for these Cartoon Network Classic series? Are you going to pick up any of them? Let me know down below which ones you're planning on getting, if you're getting any of them. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.